I just wanted to get on here and show you how I'm making this 4th of July cover for a personal journal to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the 4th of July this year. Right now I'm just making marks where I want to score for a spine, and I'm using my scoreboard to go ahead and make those scores rather than cutting this and having to glue it and all that kind of stuff. I'm just scoring it down, and I'm making about a 2-inch spine. So I'm just folding that back, and then I'm gonna score the other side when I figure out how to get it in there. So this is a scoreboard if you guys are wondering what tools I'm using, and you can find them online, usually on Amazon, on scrapbook.com, and different online sites, or like Michael's usually has them, those kind of places. Sometimes you can even find them at a thrift store. So there's my spine, and I'm just measuring a standard copy paper that I would copy my signatures onto to measure how wide I want this journal to be, or the height of it, not the width. And then I'm gonna go ahead and use my guillotine cutter to cut where I just marked my lines, and put that away. I have sped this up, otherwise it would have been almost a 2-hour video. So anyways, okay, so now I've got all that, and now I'm going to go ahead and take this other piece of cardboard that I had saved from packaging, and I'm gonna cut it to the same length or same width as my spine, and I'm gonna use it to strengthen my spine a little bit. So I'm just measuring the length, like what I need to cut it to, and then I'm going to go ahead and glue that down with some Mod Podge. And I'm going to use a lot of Mod Podge because I want to make sure it's glued down really well. So I'm just gonna lay that down, take a piece of tissue paper to get that extra glue that might come out, and just really press down good to make sure it is adhering well. And that gives a lot of extra strength without bulk to my spine there. So that's the first part. And then I have this piece of cloth that I found at a thrift store. I think it was an old placemat, but it's made out of cloth and it's very patriotic, and I've been saving it for this very purpose. So it was only $1. I get a lot of my materials at thrift stores because they always have like little pieces that nobody needed. Maybe they bought too much material and they just had a lot built up, so they gave it all to the thrift store. So the thrift store is a great place to find things like this, or table setting. Maybe they didn't have 4 anymore, so they didn't want one random one. So anyways, it was $1. So that's, so far, all I've used is some Mod Podge that you would have to buy, and you can get a little bottle of it at the dollar store. And this cloth is $1. So far, it's only cost $2 to make this project, because all the rest of the stuff is recycled packaging. And that's the whole premise of doing this type of project, is that you can make something beautiful and not spend a ton of money if you don't have a lot of money. That's part of the point of junk journaling. It's using what you have, recycling different things that you have. I know we've all gotten into using printables a lot. I love printables. I make printable kits. So I have nothing against printables, but I'm just saying, if you don't have the access to a printer or to printables, there's so many things you can do. You can collect pictures out of old magazines. thrift an old book that someone's going to throw away. Ask people to give you things that they're throwing away that they may not ever use again. Just there's so many resources out there that you can use to go ahead and be creative with. So now I glued this whole thing down, and now I'm just going to rip those edges to fit a little bit better my substrate. And I'm going to go all the way around the journal. I contemplated kind of folding it over a little bit, but I think I liked the frayed edges better, the frayed edge look. And you'll see later that I am going to go ahead and sew the edges of this journal. So they don't really need to be folded over. If you want to fold them over, you're more than welcome to do that, but I just chose not to. So I'm just making sure the edges are not too, there's not too much of an edge there. And I can go back later and fray them some more by pulling out some of the threads to give it a more natural look if I want to. Just pulling out more strings there. I've been really wanting to do a 4th of July journal for a while, and I thought since it's the 250th anniversary of our country, I think it's the perfect time to finally make one. So I hope this inspires you guys. This is only the first video of several that I'll be doing on this journal. Well, I'm going to do at least 2. I shouldn't say several because I don't know that I'm going to do several, but I'm going to be at least doing a second one where I show you how I decorate it and put the signatures in. So come back for that one in about a week, maybe less. I'm going to try to have this out before the 4th of July so that if someone wants to work on a project for the 4th, they can go ahead and do this. And you don't have to use the same material that I'm using. This would work on any type of journal. So any fabric you have, you can make a flower journal or a butterfly journal or a bee journal. Whatever you have that you can use, just use it. Pillowcases, old pillowcases, old blankets, old shirts. You can always cut all those things up and use them in your journals. And you can also make strips out of them and make them into ties for your journals. There's just, if you can just think creatively, then you can, the sky's the limit. There's no end to what you can do to be creative with these. So that's it on that, and then I'm going to go ahead and flip it over and cut the other side to size. And then I'll be back when it's dry to do the second part. I am just cutting a little closer to the edges because I realized that if I didn't, it was kind of too flimsy on the bottom because material got in the way, just so you know what I'm doing here. Just trimming it up. And then I'm going to fold them down really good, each corner or each edge of the spine, just so the creases are really well with it while the glue is wet. And that's it. Okay, so this is the second part I'm doing. I've sped up the whole video just in case you guys haven't noticed, and I'm doing a voiceover. But I'm just sewing a zigzag along all the edges of the journal to give it a finishing touch and the homemade look there. This is not required. You could make this whole entire journal without sewing anything, or if you don't have a sewing machine and you just want a stitched look, you can sew a few handmade stitches on it to just give it that look that you're looking for. But it's not required that you sew all these edges. I just like doing it because I think it gives it that little bit of extra character and homemade look to it. So I just like the results of sewing them. So I don't always sew my journals though. There's many journals I've made. The majority of journals that I have made, I have not sewn. So you do not have to do this part, but if you want to, this is what I'm doing. And don't forget to do a back stitch when you first start your stitches out. And then once I'm done sewing all the way around, I am going to go ahead and sew each of those stripes, the edges of them, and I'm using a gold thread. One thing I did learn during this tutorial while I was filming this and sewing, I had to watch a little video on how to redo my bobbins because I'm not that great of a sewer. I'm not a professional sewer at all. And she was explaining the difference between good thread, how you can tell on a thread that you buy at the store, how if it's good thread or cheap thread. And she said when it's stacked perfectly, then it's usually cheaper thread. If it zigzags kind of on the roll, then it's a more quality thread. And this one stacked, and I have had more problems with this thread. I think I bought it on sale on top of it being cheaper. So I noticed it frays and it jams, gets jammed easier than some of the other thread that I've used. So I thought that was interesting. So now I know when I'm looking for thread what to look for. And so do you. You know which ones are quality and which ones aren't. So I just continue the process of following those edges. I'm doing both sides of the stripes with the golden thread. I know you guys can't see her, but I have my kitty here wanting my attention while I'm doing my voiceover. Going back and forth. She just wants to be petted. Okay. So now I'm going to do the stars, the edge of the stars. The blue stripe. And I did so much slower than it looks like in this video because this video is like 3 times faster than reality. Just so you know. Okay, so it's all sewn. And it's all sewn across. And the spine is pretty sturdy here. And this is what the inside looks like. I chose the gold because it's the 250th anniversary, so I just thought it was appropriate to have golden thread on there just to, you know, commemorate the specialness of the year. And now it's time to start getting the signatures in, decorating the front, putting the corners on, all that fun stuff. So that will be in the next video, and I hope you tune in. Bye.